compete unfairly. Many of us have been exclusive in our friendships and intolerant in our attitude, and I can easily understand that many a non-Jew in England wants to get rid of us. Palestine will become the world's ghetto. Why should the Russian give the Jew equal rights when his national home is Palestine? Why does Lord Rothschild attach so much importance to the difference between British and foreign Jews? All Jews will be Jews, inhabitants of the great country of Palestine. I feel that the government are asked to be the instrument for carrying out the wishes of a Zionist organisation, largely run, as my information goes, at any rate in the past, by men of enemy, that's in brackets, German descent or birth. I feel that the government are asked to be the instrument for carrying out the wishes of a Zionist organisation, largely run, as my information goes, at any rate in the past, by men of the enemy, and that's German, descent or birth, and by this means have dealt a severe blow to the liberties, position and opportunities of service to their fellow Jewish countrymen. I would say to Lord Rothschild that all government will be prepared to do everything in their power to obtain for Jews in Palestine complete liberty of settlement and life on an equality with the inhabitants of that country who profess other religious beliefs. I would ask the government to go no further. Sorry I didn't realise it so much. 23rd of August 1917, ESM Edwell Samuel Montague, British Public Records, cab number 2424. Quran, Surah 17, Al-Isra, verse 4. And we notified the children of Israel in the scriptures that twice will you work corruption in the earth and become great tyrants. The Right Honourable Winston Churchill was allowed to publish an apology for Zionism, an attempt to establish that Zionism and Bolshevism were not in fact only two sides of the same coin. A more accurately differentiation would however be that, being secular in nature, both Zionism and Bolshevism are diametrically opposed to the principles and original beliefs of Mosaic law. This view is confirmed by Mr. Jacob Schiff, the American Jewish financier of the Russian Revolution, on the 11th of May 1917. I believe I'm not far wrong in saying that from 50% to 75% of the so-called Jewish nationalists are either atheists or agnostics, and that the great majority of Jewish nationalist leaders have absolutely no interest in the Jewish religion. Edwin Montague and the Balfour Declaration, page 2021. And a little bit of silence here from our good friends in the Noise Abatement Society. Right. The international Jews. In violent opposition to all the sphere of Jewish effort rise the schemes of the international Jews. The adherents of this sinister confederacy are mostly men reared up among the unhappy populations of countries where Jews are persecuted on account of their race. Most, if not all of them, have forsaken the faith of their forefathers and divorced from their minds all spiritual hopes of the next world. This movement among Jews is not new. From the days of Spartacus Weishaupt, that's Adam Weishaupt, he called him Spartacus, 1748 to 1811, founder of the Bavarian Illuminati, to those of Karl Marx and down to Trotsky, Russia, Bela Kun, Hungary, Rosa Luxemburg, Germany, and Emma Goldman, United States. This worldwide conspiracy for the overthrow of civilization and for the reconstitution of society on the basis of arrested development, envious malevolence, and impossible equality has been steadily growing. It played, as a modern writer, Mrs. Nessa H. Webster, has so aptly shown, a definitely recognisable part in the tragedy of the French Revolution, has been the mainstay of every subversive movement during the 19th century. And now at last this band of extraordinary personalities from the underworld of the great cities of Europe and America have gripped the Russian people by the hair of their heads and become practically the undisputed master of that enormous empire. Basically saying Zionism took control of the Russian Empire. The Zionists, the same people, the same Lord Rothschild, the same Rockefellers who created the Federal Reserve, at the same time inspired the Bolshevik Revolution, at the same time 70,000 crypto-Muslims who professed Islam but were in fact Jews who were part of the Judo-Masonic conspiracy. Kemal Ataturk and 70,000 Jews who professed that they were Muslim, and they took over Turkey, banned the hijab, banned religious teaching, banned religious schools, banned everything. And it was even prophesied by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, over 1400 years, over 1350 odd years previously, prophesied that the land would fall, that the collapse of the Islamic Caliphate would be at the time when people would profess to be Muslim, and the land half in the sea, half in the land, Istanbul, Constantinople. Yes, the Islamic Caliphate by 1924 was destroyed. The Sykes-Picot Agreement of the Middle East, the drawing of lines in the sand by Britain and France, having defeated the Ottoman Empire. The only thing left that was to be put in place through the 20s and the 30s and the 40s was the pogroms of Russia and Eastern Europe, of the poor Jews. It was a final ethnic cleansing by Hitler, another puppet of the Illuminati. Hold on, we're just going to get down to the bottom bit here. I could keep going on this. Here we go, right, here we go. We're going heavy here, right? If it's not already gone heavy, then I don't know what it is. There is no need to exaggerate the part played in the creation of Bolshevism and the actual bringing about of the Russian Revolution by the international and for the most part atheistical Jews. It's certainly a very great one. It probably outweighs all others, with the notable exception of Lenin. The majority of the leading figures are Jews. Dr. Chaim Weisfeld in the Jewish Chronicle, London, December 16th, 1932, said that Lenin had taken part in Jewish student meetings in Switzerland 35 years earlier. He is generally regarded as Russian, but there is a doubt. Mr. Field remarked in his book All Things that Lenin was married to a Jewess and spoke Yiddish in his family circles. The Rulers of Russia, page 28. Well, that's in brackets there, taking it from a quote. I always have this to say. Lenin was born 10th April 1870 in the vicinity of Odessa, southern Russia. He was a son of Ilko Schroll Goldman, a German Jew, and Sophie Goldman, a German Jewess. Lenin was circumcised as Haim Goldman, Common Sense, April 1963. That's where it was taken from, so that was in something called Common Sense, April 1963. Lenin was left behind by a company of prisoners, and later his convict father Ilko Sroll Goldman wrote inquiring his whereabouts. And that's quoted from Russia Under the Jews, page 86. Lenin was picked up and adopted by Ulyanov, in brackets, the secret world government, page 36. That's where that's taken from. The original Lenin was a half-blooded Jew, that is to say, the original Ulyanov, who bore the name of Lenin, was so, but there is ground to believe that the present Lenin is impersonating the man who is now dead, and the actual Lenin of the Bolshevik business is what he looks, a full-blooded Jew. The Jews in Russia, page 5. Right, hold on. Winston Churchill continued, moreover, the principal inspiration and driving power comes from the Jewish leaders. Thus, Titcherin, a pure-blooded Russian, is eclipsed by his normal subordinate, Litvinov, and the influence of Russians like Bukharin or Lukarsky cannot be compared with the power of Trotsky or of Zinoviev, the director of the Red Citadel, Petrograd, or of Krasin or Radek, all Jews. In the Soviet institutions, the predominance of Jews is even more astonishing, and the prominent, if not indeed the principal, part of the system of terrorism applied by the extraordinary commissions for combating counter-revolution has been taken by Jews, and in some notable cases by Jewesses. The same evil prominence was attained by Jews in the brief period of terror during which Bela Kun ruled in Hungary. In a period of rule lasting 130 days, Bela Kun is reported to having murdered over 700,000 Hungarians. The same phenomenon has been presented in Germany, especially in Bavaria, so far as this madness has been allowed to prey upon the temporary prostration of the German people. Although in all these countries there are many non-Jews, every whit as bad as the burst of the Jewish revolutionaries, the part played by the latter in proportion to the numbers in the population is astonishing. The fact that in many cases Jewish interests in Jewish places of worship are accepted by the Bolsheviks from their universal hostilities has tended more and more to associate the Jewish race in Russia with the villainies that are which were being perpetrated. That was written by Winston Churchill. Leaders of the Russian Revolution. George Armstrong pointed out that in his Rothschild money trust that the Jewish Russian Revolution occurred in 1917 when they were fighting World War I against Germany, which had at that time a cabinet completely dominated by key ministers who were predominantly Jewish. Bethmann Hollweg, Chancellor and spokesman, was a descendant of the Rothschilds. Walter Rathnew, treasurer, and Felix Warburg, head of the spy system, together with 5 other members of the Kaiser's cabinet, were Jews. The Jews in 1914 were more completely in control of Europe than they were in 1844 when Disraeli's Sidonia Rothschild visited the various capitals of Europe. Sidonia then with words of prophecy visioned the revolution and world at war. That mighty revolution which at this moment preparing in Germany is entirely developing under the auspices of Jews who almost monopolise the professional chairs of Germany. Page 5961. We told you, the authorities in London, we shall be in Palestine whether you want us there or not. You may speed up or slow down our coming, but it would be better for you to help us. Otherwise our constructive force will turn on a destructive one that will bring about ferment in the entire world. Chaim Weizmann, Zionist leader and first president of Israel, 1948-52, quoted in The Struggle for World Power, page 20. 1939, George Armstrong wrote in the Rothschild Money Trust that the purpose of World War I was to establish the League of Nations, the worldwide gold standard, in Palestine for the Jews. And with the exception of Palestine, he says, it's the purpose of World War II. So they've got the League of Nations, which transformed into United Nations. The goals